so I hope you have all had lovely weekends. If you're in the UK, then I'm sure you will know that this weekend has been the first properly sunny weekend this year. The weather up until now has just been very miserable. Well, there's been a few days, but they've been on weekdays, so for us that go to work and have school, then can't really enjoy those days the same. But anyway, it's been lovely this Saturday and Sunday, and I thought, why not do a video, seeing as my last one was quite a while ago. So I thought I'd kind of talk about some updates that we've got, and also get the pigs out for some floor time so you can watch them what they're getting up to while I'm talking to you. And the second half of this video is a bit of a warning really about grass. North America, UK, Europe, we're starting to get into the time of year where we're able to put our guinea pigs outside, which is lovely, but there are some things that we do need to bear in mind when we are doing that, so I'll kind of get onto that later on in the video. But firstly, some updates. So if you don't know, or if you have not been following my channel for a while, then you'll know that we bought the house that we're living in last July, and since then I have been meaning to transform this room that the piggies are in at the moment, that they have the floor time set up in, into a sewing room cum pet room. And it's been a long time coming, but it finally looks like we are going to be able to start making those changes, decorating the room, and it's all been to do with finding a plumber to move the radiator, which is on the wall behind me, to the wall that you can see just there at the bottom of the ironing board, and that will allow us to kind of start the decorating, because the guinea pig's cage is going to go on one big length of wall where the radiator is at the moment, so we had to really get it moved, and there wasn't really anywhere else for it to go. So anyway, hopefully, fingers crossed, that plumber is going to come and help us out, and then we'll be able to get decorating. So I hope to do vlogs throughout the whole process, and you can kind of see how the room comes on. And maybe you guys can also help me, because I've never designed a room before. I think I have zero interior design skills, so it should be a laugh anyway. It might come out looking awful in the end, but hopefully I can't go too wrong if I go for kind of neutral colours. So along the same lines, the other update is that I have been thinking about designs for the new guinea pig's cage, and there will be a video coming up where I'm going to kind of talk about easy to include DIY features into a cage. I have all these ideas in my mind and I can't wait to put them into reality. They're kind of simple things that hopefully will improve the cage a lot on what it is now. Even though it's going to be kind of a similar design, I hope that it's going to make it more exciting for the piggies and for me as well. So we'll see, and look out for those future videos. Hopefully you'll find them useful. So back onto the weather. This weekend has been lovely. The guinea pigs were outside yesterday. They're not being outside today. The reason being that I did get a bit worried about Twiggy. It's always Twiggy. If you don't know, then that is Twiggy. And she is my pig that always worries me about various health problems. She had an operation late last year to treat ovarian cysts, then she got bumblefoot, she's had problems with her coat and her hair, and last night I did get a bit worried about her after they had been out on the grass during the day, because she did feel quite bloated. Her stomach was quite big and quite hard, like it was full of gas, and I had cleaned out the cage, and then I think I'd come back in to check on them, and I just thought, it's odd that there's no poos around the place. So I thought maybe they are a bit bloated and not feeling too great after they'd been out on the lawn and they'd eaten all that grass. So if you're new to owning guinea pigs, then fresh grass is their #1 favourite food, and they just don't know when to stop. So they will munch on that stuff for as long as they're out there, pretty much non-stop, and it can cause upset tummies, especially if it's been a long time since they have had fresh grass, or if it's like really new growth fresh grass coming through in spring. And I think that's what happened with Twiggy, so I'm kind of monitoring her. It's still a bit bloated, but she is pooping, so I'm just kind of hoping that the gas kind of subsides and everything is okay. If you are worried about bloat, which can be caused by all sorts of things, fresh grass only being one of them, it can be a really serious situation. So I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I will put some links in the description box below. I highly recommend that you have a read just so that you're aware, and I'd also really recommend having some kind of home treatments at home when you might not be able to get to the vet. So this morning when I was worried about Twiggy, I went out and got some Infacol, which has simethicone in, and it is for relieving gas. As you can see, it's for human babies, but it is okay to use with guinea pigs, and it is recommended by an awful lot of people on the forums. So I gave Twiggy a dose of this, which is 1 ml. This morning when she was still, her tummy was still quite hard and she still seemed a bit, you know, not quite as energetic, not quite the same. So I gave her a dose of this, and hopefully that has kind of broken up those gas bubbles and helped get things moving again. So she does seem fine at the moment. As you can see, she's sprightly and looking a bit perkier. Hi you darling. Hey, hey, you were just a bit tired and a bit down, weren't you, today? So that's the reason basically why I didn't put them out on the grass, because I didn't want to risk Twiggy stuffing her face again and just kind of getting those bloat-ish symptoms coming back, because it can be a really serious condition. So do make sure you have a read of the links below, do make sure you're aware of it, especially if you've never heard of it before. Personally as well, in the past, looking back to when I didn't know as much about guinea pigs as I do now, I think that one of my very first guinea pigs died of bloat, and if I'd have known as much as I do now, then it could have been prevented, maybe. But you know, I tried not to dwell too much on that, and so it just really helps if people are aware of these kind of different health problems that guinea pigs can get. So let's leave the serious stuff behind. I think that is almost all for this video. I will probably do some close-ups of them enjoying floor time before I go, and I think I will also be doing a spring Q&A. Maybe I'm going to do Q&As at the start of each season, because I think it's a bit too much for me to try and do one a month. Because I know I'm not great at doing videos, let's just put it that way. I will aim for one a week, and hopefully I will carry on with that, but we'll see. So doing a Q&A every 4th video is a bit much really, so I'm going to do one for the start of the new season. So next weekend I will be filming a spring Q&A. If you want to ask any questions for the Q&A video, then please comment them below. I'll take a selection, and you might get your question answered in that video. And if you do ask a question for that video, then in advance, thank you so much. I think I have rambled on enough for this video. Let's just end it with some shots of the piggies enjoying their floor time, and I hope you all have a lovely week coming up ahead. That's bye-bye from me. Bye-bye.